guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. And guess what? I know we haven't done a giveaway in a long time, so before we get started, we are having another giveaway. Well, yes, another giveaway, and this time we're giving away our brand new glow in the dark collection. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you know that we just launched this like 2 weeks ago. So make sure you guys follow the rules and details on how to win, which is really simple. I know I got stuck there for a second. I'm like, I don't know how you gonna win this. How do you win? Well, to win this, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment down below, and then the winner will be selected in the comments section. Okay, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell. You see, it's been so long that I haven't done a giveaway and I forgot all the rules and the stuff like that. But anyways, it's super hot here in California. I don't know if it's knowing where you guys are at, but I think it's very appropriate that I am doing a winter set of nails because it's about to be Christmas, right? I literally skipped Thanksgiving, but it's all right. We're gonna do some icy nails, okay? Super easy. Well, I think it's super easy, and I think I'll do it on my own hand. Something a little bit different. I'm gonna be struggling with the thumb because it's kind of weird. Well, anyways, guys, check it out. Hey guys, I'm gonna show you guys our brand new tips. I just absolutely love these tips. This is brand new. It does not have any C-curve on it at all, and is super easy to glue on top of the nail plate. And as you can see, I did not prep the nails first, so it would make it a little bit harder for the tips to stick, but these tips are thin enough that it's really easy for it to stick to the nail bed. And I know in the video I said I was going to do it on my real nails, but you know, I figure it actually takes me a lot longer to do them on my hand than it is on the fake hand because of the way my hand is angled, and it make it a lot harder. Look how beautiful this is, and they are super long and super straight, also very see-through. Okay, and remember how we measure the tips is we measure by cuticles to cuticle. You see how I line it up just to make sure they all match. So always cuticles to cuticle, and with the pinky we always eyeball it. And what I really love about these tips is that I feel like it actually a little bit easy to shape than when they have a lot more of the C-curve. I love them both equally, but I do be honestly that the non-C-curve is a little bit easier. Okay, you guys notice how I usually trim the edges and then glue on the nails, and I noticed that it could be a little bit harder for the people that is not really familiar doing it that way. They end up trimming too much on one side, and then it kind of crooked. So what I did is I actually glued the tip directly on, and then I used the hand file to kind of even it out with the nail bed, just like this. So I did not trim it first. Usually I trim it, but I did not trim it, so I just glue it directly on, and whatever is kind of sticking out, I'm gonna file it off to make sure it blends in, and make sure we remove all powder, any little particles that it's gonna cause it to look cloudy. We do not want that. And just to be safe, let's do a primer on the bottom because we are putting a thin layer of the diamond gel on the bottom of the nails. Okay, diamond gel, squeeze a good amount, not too thin, okay, because when it's too thin it doesn't give you that icy effect. So we're gonna go in and give it a nice little glob, and this is just the diamond gel. Nice squeeze and glob it on. This tube is kind of empty, as you can see. I'm constantly like trying to squeeze it out. Okay, and you have to use saran wraps. If you don't have saran wrap, find a piece of plastic bags that is thin enough. Okay, thin piece of plastic, or else this is gonna be a lot harder than it is. So just press it on. I did not have saran wrap, but I did found something pretty thin, and then I'm gonna go in and use like a sharp ends of some like a dotting tool to kind of press it. You see, press it, make it all wrinkly. The more wrinkle you have, the prettier the effect, because you want it to look icicle, so you want a lot of wrinkles. You don't want it like a super smooth surface. Okay, so go in and you see how press it. Make sure, I'm gonna show you guys easier. Press, and then press it up like that. And then usually before I cure it, I'm gonna flip it out this way and check to make sure that there's a lot of, you know, those ridges or those lines, to make sure there's a lot of that to give it that nice effect, okay? And once it looks good, and then I'll go ahead and cure it, because you don't want to cure it and what if you flip it over and you're like, oh shoot, it's too smooth to be icicle, okay? We don't want to do that. So now that looks good, cure under the light for like about 30 seconds, and then remove the whole thing. All right guys, and now remove it, right? And look at how beautiful this looks. Look how see-through. Look at these tips. I barely pre-shaped them, and look how beautiful it is. And of course, I've been obsessed with this color, okay? Make sure we fluff the powder up by tapping it towards us, and then apply the first small B first. This is number M122. This is like a tan, more of like a red undertone nude. I love this color. It's my new favorite color. And then I'm gonna tap, 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 and then pull it down. And then when it goes toward the center, that's when I kind of drag it out. Now I have that little black dots in it. Usually if it's towards the edge, I can kind of get it off, but it's so much in the center. I'm just gonna usually easier just to wipe it off and start over than just try to dig it out and then press. Yeah, no, I just wipe it off and start over. Okay, so again, put it on, and then tap it in place. You see how it's kind of runny. I'm not dragging it down yet because it's kind of runny. You see that? So I'm kind of just playing with it and kind of bring it towards the center of the nails. We want it kind of long in the middle of the nails, right? So I'm gonna drag it, give it a little point in the center. And again, you can see I'm more in like a tapping motion, okay? I'm not dragging it yet. And then tap, 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 and kind of pulls, make it kind of long in the center, right? Because it's the deep French, it's long in the center. And then just like how you would do when you remember when we used to do gel French, okay, with the brush you clean around the edges, same thing with this brush. It's just a bigger brush and it's just acrylic, but the same concept, okay? I'm gonna go in and clean off the edges like this, make sure it's nice and neat around the edges. So clean it up nice and neat. Make sure your brush is clean when you guys do this, okay? And once you get this process down, like this way of doing the deep French, I think this is my favorite way of doing it, and it's actually very fast once you get used to the process. But at first it takes some learning because everything takes a little bit of training, right? And then now second B, close to the cuticle, holds it in place, clean your brush, dip it in a little bit of monomer, flush it into the cuticles. And you notice this hand is getting ruined again. I am notorious for messing up my hands. Look, I bought it, I wanted like a little bit like more like my skin tone, so I bought like a darker hand than my regular one, which is the red iguana. I love that hand also, but this hand I totally forgot where I got it. I think it's somewhere in the UK, shipped it over, and I think it's called the Alena hand. Okay, a lot of you guys ask what hand I'm using. It's called the Alena, ALENA hand. And then when you search for that on Google, it should pop up the website. I totally forgot what the website name, but you can see my skin tone is coming off on the hand. So I think it'll be fine. It just, you know, it looks a little different right there. It's because my, you know, the skin tone to my hand is coming off. So it looks a little discoloration right there. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually gonna use I'm gonna show you guys the other technique of doing the deep French, right? Usually, I think this way is actually faster, but I did notice something actually on this one, is that it's a little bit faster, but I actually like my hand mold deep French better than my using the cutting tools, because this tool, I'm gonna show you, okay? So I'm gonna flip the tool around, right? Usually we go the other way, but I'm gonna flip it upside down, and I'm gonna make sure I level with the other one to make sure how long the deep French on that one is, so it won't be completely off. So kind of measure it to make sure that I keep both of the nude almost the same size. And then once that gets a little bit more matte, and then I'm gonna center it and then press it all the way down and then drag it off. And as you can see, this with this deep French, it actually goes more further towards the cuticle, so it gives you really deep sidewall, like really deep into the cuticle, as you can see, right? Super deep, deeper than what I have going on the index finger. And I'm gonna scrape off the excess. Make sure we remove it all. We don't want any of the nude on it because it might ruin the icicle look. But you notice that how it's a little bit more pointy. It's not like more of a fatter, rounder tip, but more a very kind of more pointy tip. And I think I like the more fatter, rounder tip than the really pointy tips. So that's it. That's the only thing that I really don't don't like. I mean, I like it, but I like it less than my normal like freehand deep French, like this pinky right here. You see how it's kind of wider? I like that better. But that's just my preference, you know. If you guys are starting out, you want to try that, perfectly fine. But this is my other technique. And again, once we're done, everything's dry, you can go in and hand file to straighten out your edges, just because, you know, it might not be perfectly straight, so you can go in when it's dry to kind of straighten it out. And now that's done, make sure we're gonna go in with our wet brush to clean off all the powder before we apply on the clear powder. The crystal clear is number 01 from Notpolish as well. And with this clear, we do use it on like a little bit more on the runnier side because we don't want it to get foggy looking, right? And then if it's runny, push it towards the center of the nail and push it towards the center of the nail, just like that. And remember, hold your finger really downward, okay? Push it towards the center. It's still kind of runny, so I'm just gonna play around with it and kind of like keep it really center. Just keep it there, keep it there, keep it there. Kind of tap it. Just kind of like, you know, take your time, talk to your clients. Kind of just play around with it, because, okay, do not rush. Once you rush and you started dragging the powder off, when it's too dry, you end up dragging off too much. And when you drag off too much, you need more beads, and the more beads you apply, maybe sometimes it takes longer. It actually takes a little bit longer, okay? If you apply more, like say I'm just gonna do 2 beads on this one, but now I need like 3 or 4, of course it's gonna take me a little bit longer, right? So make sure you do not rush, okay? When it's still kind of wet, make sure to play around with it. And once it's set a little bit more, then you press and pull it all the way. Press, pull, okay? But when it's wet, you kind of just tap it in place. And then when it dries a little bit more, you press and pull it towards the tip of the nail. And you notice how I spend a little more time shaping the nails once I get it towards the tip of the nails. That way my tip is like super straight across, so I'll spend less time filing later. And again, second bead, apply right there, and then hold it in place, tip your nails downward, hold it in place, and then push it in the center. Kind of press it and fold it towards the center. You see that? Kind of press it and fold it towards the center. That's good. Once you feel like it's set, then you can kind of pull it. Look, now it kind of set a little bit more. I'm gonna press and pull it towards the tip of the nail. You notice how I'm constantly like using my finger, kind of twisting the my clients, my fake client's hand. Always use your index, or you just use your finger, your left hand, kind of twist the client finger around to kind of look at the nails at different angle. You see how I'm kind of twisting, I'm constantly twisting it, you see, at different angle, and you can see that, right? Pay attention to my thumb, you're constantly kind of moving, so that way I can see and kind of move and to see things from different angle, and then cut it off at the end. And usually I'm just gonna go in and kind of tap it again and kind of smooth everything out. Once the product is still kind of wet, I just go in and kind of smooth everything out, okay? And for this middle finger, we're gonna do, again, when you guys are doing deep French, always use 2 beads, okay? 2 beads when you do deep French, and then you encapsulate with another design or something like this look. Always do two beads application, okay? 2 beads application, because when you do 1 bead, what happens is when you pull it down, when it gets towards the where the deep French is at, it can cause a little bit of a dip, okay? So that's why we do 2 beads. So the first bead is right where the deep French is at, the deep French smile line is at. You see, right? That's right where it's at, okay? Tap, tap, and then pull. So I put it right there first, so that when I put my second bead on, when I pull it down, there won't be a dip right where the smile line is at. So if I use just 1 bead from all the way to top to the bottom, to the tip of the nail, sometimes there is a little dip right where the deep French is at. So that's why I like to do it 2 beads. But hey, you guys have 1 bead, you guys do that 1 bead and it works out for you, that's good. But I'm just showing you guys my little technique of how I do it, okay? And then cut it off at the end, and make sure we keep it really, really, really clean. Do you guys notice I switch out my brush? So I do have 2 brushes all the time. Remember I told you guys that last time. I have 2 brushes on hand, and I'm kind of tap, tap, okay? I always have 2 brushes on hand, okay? So one gets dirty, you switch it out right away. No downtime. Okay, for the second bead, and you notice how I'm placing the bead kind of like slanted at like a sideway. That way my bead is more like taper rather than that bigger bead. It's more taper towards the center. That's why I kind of drop down the bead a little bit, like I kind of slanted my brush a little bit. Instead of going straight in, I kind of slant it sideways a little bit and drop that down, okay? And then again, work it in. You can see it's kind of runny, right? And then when it's runny, just tap, right? You don't see me dragging anything yet. I'm just kind of tap, 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 tap. Okay, with the second bead, once you start tapping, maybe you take longer than usual, so it's drying up a little bit. Now, once it gets a little bit too dry, instead of try to pull it all the way to the end, what I'm doing right now is I'm applying a little bit pressure and just drag it off like that. Okay, instead of trying to keep pull, like how we normally do. Sometimes it will dry and it'll be super lumpy. So instead of doing that, I just tap, tap, tap and apply a lot of pressure towards the end and kind of just drag it all off. Not off, but drag it towards the tip of the nail. And then same thing for this one, we're gonna encapsulate with the clear. Look how pretty this tip is. It looks so icy, right? It is so icy. And guess what, guys? I finally got myself a new phone. So it's the iPhone 13, and I kind of waited a little bit longer to get it because I was too lazy to call in, and secondly I was like, oh my god, it's gonna take like months for it to get to me because everybody wants it. But it only took 1 day, so I called in like on a Friday and I got it on a Saturday. So I was like, perfect, it's time for another tutorial. So let me know in the comment down below, is the quality of my video a little bit different, or it actually looks the same as what we normally see? I think it looks more HD, but I'm not so sure now because I'm recording, so my eyes getting kind of like hard of seeing. So let me know in the comments down below if the quality is better or it's the same. But make sure you guys don't forget to enter for the giveaway, okay? The giveaway, make sure you guys comment, like the video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos coming up, but also for a chance to win the new glow-in-the-dark set that we just launched. And guess what? The glow-in-the-dark set, it has a white glow, and it glows white. I've been asking the Notpolish team, I was like, can we please get a white glow? And they finally have it available for us, guys. It's my absolutely favorite. If you guys see it on my Instagram, I posted like a video and a picture as well of that glow, and it's beautiful. I love it, okay? I think you guys will love it as well. And guess what? Just another reminder, we are having a class. I'm having a class with V Nailed It in San Diego coming in December. So make sure, if you guys have the time, make sure you guys try to make time to come out and take this class with V and myself live. in San Diego, hey, it's not a waste of money, it's an investment, right? It's the gift that keep on giving. Okay, it's a gift that keep on giving. There you go. So make sure you invest in yourself. Always invest in yourself for growth. I feel very inspirational saying that. All right, guys, make sure we see. You see how it's kind of dry already, so I'm just gonna apply a little bit of pressure and just drag it off the nail. And when you guys want to apply more pressure, you want a more sturdier brush, right? You want the brush to be sturdier. So when you want more pressure, you want a sturdier feel of the brush, or the sturdier brush. Does that make sense? Well, anyways, the part where from say halfway of the brush to the handle, that's the sturdier part of the brush. So when you want to have more pressure when you drag, use that part to drag off. Press down, use that middle part and kind of drag it off, okay? Don't just use the tip of the brush. The tip of the brush is very, very kind of more on the flimsier side. Okay, now let's go in and and pre-shape these with the 5-in-1 cross bit. Remember, on the right side you go up, 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 and on the left side we go down. So think of that when you guys are filing, right? Left. Okay, so now smooth out the cuticle first. I am gonna smooth out the cuticle and then towards the middle, the cuticles, and then the middle, and then the end. So I'm gonna remind you guys one more time. The right side, we go up and smooth that part out, and then on the left side, we go down. And always file the nails at the angle. You can kind of see, this is my view right here. This is how I actually look at the nails. I don't look at it straight down. I look at it from an angle like this, because looking straight down, it looks smooth, but when you look at an angle, sometimes it's not, okay? So if you, and then again, shaping, we're gonna do in 3 parts, right? Part 1, part 2, and part 3. So always taper in the first part first, and once that looks good, we're gonna file the second part. Okay, second part is right there. Give it a nice file, the second part, and once that looks even and good with the first part, now we're gonna go to the third part. Okay, so first part right there, first part, you can see first part, and you can see my file is not touching the tip of the nails, because I'm not working the tip of the nails first. I'm working at the first part, and then the third part, once I work at it, then the the file is touching. So the first part right here, okay, first part, you see it's not touching right here, right? Because I'm not filing down there yet. So I'm just working at the first part. So, and then once the first part is done, I'm gonna go to the second part, and as you can see, the file is not touching the tip of the nails. And then once you go to the third part, that's when the file will touch the third part. Everything looks good, then we're gonna file all from the top straight down. You see that? Top straight down. Once everything looks good, we're gonna give it a nice one more time file to taper everything together, and that looks good. And we're gonna file it right across, and we're gonna give it a nice little spin at the end to kind of even out at the bottom. And usually you can use a drill to kind of smooth out the bottom, but we're not going to do that, because if you do that, it will get rid of your icy effect. So what I'm doing right now, I'm using an old cuticle nipper and kind of go in and snip off any part that's kind of sticking up a little bit too much. Okay, do not use your file or your drill on the bottom of the nails, because it will kind of get rid of, it will ruin the icy effect. So I'm gonna go in and trim off anything that's any piece of gel that's sticking up. And I'm gonna use, now that looks good, and we are ready to paint, right? So after I snip all the thick gel off, I buff the nails and I clean, and then now we're gonna use M64 gel, and then we're gonna paint on the reindeer. See See, I'm gonna paint it. I kind of speed up this part because it takes a little while, but always start with the antler first, and then the ears, and then, you know, the face. And then once that's done, we're gonna go in with the matte top coat on the rest of the nail as well. When you put on the matte top coat on the smile, if it got on top of the icy part of the nails, it's okay. Okay, it's fine, because we're gonna go in with the glossy top coat at that part, so it will kind of, it doesn't matter. Okay, don't try to make it super perfect. You don't have to, not yet. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go in the matte top coat. You know what, I had to keep this part icy, so I'm gonna wipe it off. This is the part where I'm gonna keep it glossy, so I'm gonna wipe that off, and then we're gonna cure it under the light for 30 seconds. And when it's cured, I'm using that same gel color that I drew the reindeer, and I'm gonna write the word ho ho, and then we're gonna make it capital H, so make sure we get it like that. And this is the easier way of drawing an O. Okay, one line, and draw a dome across, and then go down and draw the dome across, because I know it's a little bit hard for some people to draw a straight O. So when you do the two lines, so look, when you do the 2 lines, it's easier. 9 lines, so 2 lines, the dome, and the dome on the bottom. Now you got your perfect O. Super easy, right? And then we're gonna do the snowflakes, same color as well, and make sure we did not cure it, right? We did not cure the gel just yet. Okay, we did not use the we did not cure the gel. And then I'm just gonna draw on these snowflakes, and make sure, okay, let me see, make sure your brush, it's a I'm still getting used to this camera. You know what, it I feel like it keeps losing focus when I record. I don't know if it's me or the camera. I mean, it's me. I mean, it's the camera, it's not me. Okay guys, so this snowflake right here, there is so many different ways of doing snowflakes. So anyways you guys think is cute, but it's actually very fast. Once you get it down, snowflakes is extremely fast to do. Okay, then we're gonna give it a little dots. Use my dotting tool, give it tiny little dots. Okay, dots. And then using the tip of my art brush again, I'm making sure it's super pointy at the tip. It's super pointy at the tip, so, and I'm gonna dip it in there and drag it out. So what it does is give it that little nice cute little point. Okay, cute little points. And then we're gonna go in and add some more little dots to it, and then do not cure it. Now I'm gonna sprinkle the same color, which is the M122, on top of the snowflakes, the wet snowflakes. I'm gonna wait for a second to make sure that the powder absorb it all. Okay, once that looks matte, then it's good. Tap, you can see how it's kind of getting shiny again. We want to make sure the powder absorb all the gel. You see that? I'm gonna pull it on. So do not rush, okay? Because when you cure it and the gel, the powder did not absorb all the gel, it's gonna give you that like shiny effect instead of that really matte effect. Okay, make sure, wait to see that any gel come up. If it didn't come up, and then it look good, so you cure it under the light. So this is how it looks like cure. So once you cure it, okay, cure it. Look how cute that is. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the shiny top coat. I'm gonna paint on with the glossy top coat. So I'm not gonna get too close to where the smile line is at, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our art brush that we used earlier to try to get into the towards the French, the smile line, and towards to get into the side wall a little bit more. So with the smaller brush like this, we can get into the side wall a little bit more. You see that? Get into that way, because you can see where my middle finger is at. You can see kind of like it's kind of scratchy right there. It's because we can't get into it with a bigger brush. I mean, we could, but I like to use the smaller brush to get into the edges, the finer, the smaller edges and the finer lines. I like to use the smaller brush. Make sure we clean off the edges, and then I'm gonna cure it under the light. Okay, so now I'm gonna cure it under the light, and I'm gonna just do the rest of the nail so we don't have to waste a lot of time on that part. And that is cure and done. I'm gonna go in and use a white gel and outline the reindeer, and then now I'm gonna sprinkle the white powder on top of it as well. Okay, so sprinkle the white powder on top of it. You see, sprinkle. So make sure we already cure the reindeer, right? We cure the reindeer and then we sprinkle the white. What I'm doing is now is giving it that like nice 3D effect. So we're gonna go in and do the same thing for the snowflakes. We're gonna draw on our white snowflakes on these nails. Draw on the white snowflakes. Okay, once this is done and the gel is still wet like the rest of them, we're gonna sprinkle the white powder on that one as well. Remember, do not cure the gel, because once you cure the gel, you sprinkle on the powder, it won't stick to the gel. Okay, so make sure the gel is still wet when you guys sprinkle on the white powder, and this gives it like that nice 2D, 3D effect that we're looking for. Okay. Done. Sprinkle the powder on, and then we're gonna cure it under the light for 30 seconds. Once it's cured, we're gonna dust it off, and it gives it that kind of like 2D effect. You see that? Dust it off, and then now we can complete it with the eyes and the eyebrows for the reindeer. So I find it easiest if I do the kind of like the window first, like the kind of like a McDonald's sign, like the window first. So do an M first right there. Right, do that M first, and then we're gonna do a top M as well, bottom M, top M, like that, and then bring it down, and then bring this side down. So that's the easiest way to draw the eyes. Okay guys, I saw this design by an artist on Instagram. I've seen this design, so I don't know who's the original artist is, this reindeer. I don't know who's the original artist, because a lot of people recreated it. So I don't actually know the original artist that did this like gingerbread reindeer, but it's super cute. So I thought I do it as well, and I find it easier if I did the first M, the second M on top, and then do the eyeballs and then the eyebrows, and then we're gonna give it nice cute little eyebrows, and then we're gonna give it a cute little smile, and then now dump the white powder, sprinkle the white powder. Don't dump it, you could, but sprinkle the white powder on it, and then sprinkle it again to make sure that it's good. Cure it, and then dust it off. And this is the finished product. It takes a little long, but it's actually easy. And this is how I clean my brush, just with a little piece of towel, okay? And this is the finished brush. I don't dip my brush in acetone or anything. I just kind of wipe it off. And look how cute these icy nails look. Super easy, right? And let me tell you guys, do not put glossy top coat on the bottom. It will ruin the effect. What it does is, you see how it smooth out. You see that it took away the icy effect. So just tell your client that this is the nails that, I mean, it's icy nails. It's just gonna be kind of uneven on the bottom. Is something that we have to kind of deal with.